Did you know that engineers are also detectives who investigate how things work so that they can solve big problems? Stay tuned for more. Hey everyone, welcome to XSTEM All Access. I'm Samantha Hunsinger, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this series showcasing some of the coolest minds in STEM. As your guest host for this episode, I'm excited to chat with Mr. Chandler Wicks. Chandler is an engineer who founded an aerospace and technology company focused on solving some of our nation's toughest defense challenges. His company is called Relogic Research, and they are using creativity and engineering to solve big problems that ultimately impact all of us. Creativity is a crucial component to the engineering process. You could say that engineering is the intersection of art and science. First, let me tell you a little bit about me. I've been passionate about space exploration my whole life, loving everything above my head and watching rocket launches. I became a manufacturing engineer, working in the automotive industry, where I use my creativity every single day to solve problems. And I also love aviation and aspire to get my private pilot's license someday. Now, I hope you are as excited as I am to hear from our speaker. Chandler, welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Sam. I'm excited to be here. This STEM program and working with our next generation of bright minds is something we're incredibly passionate about. So I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
Let's jump right into our first question. Chandler, you're a mechanical engineer who is working in the field of advanced manufacturing and advanced materials for the aerospace and defense industries. Can you tell us about your career journey that brought you to specialize in these areas?
Yeah, so as a mechanical engineer, I've always been interested in things, mechanical things like working with my hands, a lot on work things and hobby things as well. But really got interested in mechanical engineering in high school. Some of the hobbies that I had at the time, really lent itself to that, and it's just kind of the way my brain works. And so I have always gravitated towards that. But I actually started out in software engineering, had a fantastic opportunity to go do that in the defense world, which I'm very passionate about. I think it's one of the things that makes this country great, and being able to apply your skills in the defense and aerospace industry is a tremendous opportunity. So took that, started working in software, realized pretty quick that I was probably better at doing other things. And so continued to job search for things that are more mechanical in nature, and was very fortunate to find an opportunity working on reverse engineering. So we did a lot of measurement and 3D scanning and things like that to reverse engineer different types of systems. So it's very, very interesting. And then eventually that led into what I'm doing today, which is defense and aerospace materials research and material testing. And this is incredibly interesting. I mean, we all interact with really advanced materials on a regular basis. I mean, even your iPhone's got some pretty serious material technology built in. And so that's always been interesting to me. And I think that is really what kind of shaped what Relogic is doing today and what I get to work on every day. And it's really cool to get to work on these defense systems. The technology is incredible. There are lots of technologies that come out of defense and aerospace that we use every day in a non-defense and aerospace way. And so it's just really, really cool to get to be involved in some of that.
The concept of reverse engineering is so cool. It's like solving a puzzle by taking it all apart, examining the pieces, and learning how they work together. Reverse engineering allows us to uncover the secrets to how things are made and how they function. It's like being a detective, but for engineering. Reverse engineering is used in many different industries and careers. Let's take a look. You hinted earlier about technologies from the defense and aerospace sectors that we use every single day. Can you tell us more about how your work in the defense field impacts the general public?
Yeah, so our work impacts the general public in a couple of different ways. In a more commercial way, I'd say that it impacts things like commercial space flight. We're in an incredible time for commercial space flight right now. So that's super exciting. But then, also there's different technologies that we interact with on a regular basis that, what we work on impacts. There's things in the energy department, the materials for your just everyday technology. But I think the way that it impacts the general public the most, and it's the thing that I'm most passionate about, is providing the best and the brightest minds for our defense industry. I mean, that's something that's incredibly important to the nation and the freedoms that we have here. It's just a tremendous place to be, and it's all because we have the best military, we have the best technology, and that's something that's really important to me. It's really important to Relogic and really important to the team and the customers that we support. And so I'd say that's probably the biggest way that it impacts in the general public is that we're constantly working to stay ahead and solve our nation's toughest problems, which is an exciting thing to be a part of. So
it must be exciting and gratifying to play an important role in the security of our nation. You may not realize how important civilian STEM workers are to the defense industry. These are professionals who are not in the military, but they work right alongside our armed forces to keep our nation at the forefront of technology. Check out these facts. Chandler, your company offers many high-tech services within advanced manufacturing and advanced materials. I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into understanding some of these. Let's start with metrology. What is metrology and how is it used in manufacturing? What kind of work does a metrologist do?
Yeah, so metrology is an interesting field. A lot of folks confuse it for meteorology, which is the study of the weather, but metrology is defined as the study of measurement. So the study of measurement, it could be as simple as a tape measure that we've all used at home, a thermometer that you check your temperature with, things like that. But what we do at Relogic is in kind of two categories, industrial metrology and also optical metrology. So we specialize in measuring things without having to touch them. So we measure them with the measurement, either a laser or a structured light measurement system. And it's really cool. There's actually a pretty exciting time to be in that field. There's a lot of more affordable options for 3D scanning would be a form of metrology. Your iPhone, for example, has a really nice LiDAR system built in. An app, you can scan pretty much anything. So that's very similar to what we do, just on an industrial level. And there's all sorts of different cool technologies to get involved in out there. I would encourage checking out. If you have an iPhone or one of the Android phones that has the LiDAR sensor, I would certainly encourage you to go scan some things and get familiar with that. We use that to support our defense and aerospace customers, either in inspection. So if there's a manufactured item that's maybe tough to inspect with calipers or traditional methods, we can scan complex surfaces very easy with a lot of accuracy to figure out if they were made correctly. That's a really common service that we offer. Reverse engineering is another. Going from, a piece of hardware that maybe the Department of Defense doesn't have the technical data on, or a drawing package, or they don't know how to make it, and so we can scan it easily, create a CAD file, and share that back. And then there's other advanced manufacturing methods that we provide as well, and that we work on, where you can actually measure things real time as they're being made, and that's probably the most exciting to me. So there's measuring things while they're being machined, or shortly after, and providing the feedback to the machinist to be able to make corrections if needed, and things like that. So there's some pretty exciting advanced manufacturing methods in the form of optical metrology that we're pretty excited to be involved in.
So you're saying that my phone has 3D scanning technology? How cool is that? Most of us probably don't immediately connect the concept of measurement with a high-tech field, but metrologists use cutting-edge instruments and advanced technologies to make very precise and accurate measurements. Let's take a deeper look into the field of metrology. Who knew the field of metrology played such a critical role across so many industries? Let's get back to our questions. Your company also conducts testing of hypersonic materials. We're talking about materials for aerospace and defense that need to survive traveling at speeds greater than Mach 5. That is 5 times the speed of sound, or over 3,800 miles per hour. That is so fast. How do you test materials in a lab setting to ensure that they can withstand such an extreme environment?
So the testing of hypersonic materials, or materials that are able to withstand the hypersonic environment, is a pretty tough problem. We're excited to be a part of it. We're excited to work with our customers to figure that out. And so the hypersonic flight environment is it's pretty intense. There's lots of heat. There's lots of things happening during the flight that cause stress to the material. And one of the best ways I can try to describe that is if you've been driving down the interstate and have your hand out the window, and if you leave it out long enough, even if it's 70 degrees outside, your hand gets warm. So it's the friction of the air actually passing over your hand is what causes that to get hot. So think about that, but just going instead of 70 miles an hour, 3,800 miles an hour. And so you can imagine the transfer of the thermal energy into your hand would be pretty rough. So that is the problem that we try to work on. And how do you protect things from getting hot that are important, like the computer system or whatever it may be on the inside? How do you protect it from getting too hot to function? And so one of the ways that we do that at Relogic, which is super exciting, is through ground testing. And so we are able a few different ways to simulate the environment on the ground, which is cheaper and quicker and easier to deal with. And so it's a challenging problem. And we have a great team of folks that studied in engineering or one of the other sciences, or even have just worked on the program for a long time, that have particular knowledge of how things go together. Technicians, CNC programmers, things like that, that also are a tremendous help in helping us trying to solve that problem. And so, the ground testing is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to travel to these places and go see how those tests are conducted and prepare for them and all that. So, but we have a great team of engineers and technicians that help us accomplish that.
Speaking of ground testing, check out this video of a hypersonic ground testing event that took place at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. This test traveled at Mach 8.6, or 6,599 miles per hour. That's over 1 mile a second. Now that is fast. Chandler, if a student is interested in entering your field, what type of skills or training or education would you recommend they obtain?
So education is important, whether that's a college degree or a trade school. We have fantastic team members at Relogic that have done both and been incredibly successful at both or with both educational backgrounds. The training, a lot of what we do is it's kind of on the job training, but I would say there are things that you can do that are free that as a candidate would make you incredibly valuable to any team, not just Relogic. But having a great work ethic, working really hard at what you're doing, putting all your focus and energy into it, and generating a great product. And by product, I mean the product of yourself. That's ultimately what those of us that get into the STEM fields are doing is working on ourselves to make ourselves marketable to future employers, or to be able to work on some cool projects or things like that. And so that would be my biggest piece of advice, would be work on yourself, work on your skills, whether that's education or professional skills, people skills, social skills, things like that. You're building this product that is yourself, to make yourself more marketable to future employers, to be able to get into some of these fields. And then honestly, ultimately being coachable. There's a lot, and I could have used my own advice here as a young engineer, but being coachable and listening to, the subject matter experts that have been there 10, 15, 20 years, and really learning from them and other people in industry, but, learning to be coachable and working hard at what you're doing. Those are honestly the big things, in addition to education, that make folks, that would be an easy way to get into what we're doing. So.
Being open to guidance and a willingness to learn from mentors is really important. It allows us to explore new ideas, grow professionally, and ultimately excel in our fields. Chandler, the kind of work you do sounds very technical, but let's talk about the creativity required for engineering innovations that solve big problems. How important is creativity in the engineering world, and how do you balance the need to be creative with the technical engineering requirements of engineering?
Yeah, so I've always thought that engineering is the intersection of science and art, or science and creativity. Creativity is incredibly important in what we do. It drives a lot of the innovation, and I think you have to be able to do both, or have a team that can do both. Engineering is largely requirements for good reason, and that's how things get done. But also the creativity side of it, a lot of times, will drive how you get to those requirements. And so being able to be flexible, be agile, be willing to look at things outside the box. I think that's what makes a great engineer and a great engineering team, is being able to do both art and science.
The ability to think outside the box as an engineer is so important, especially when addressing our nation's toughest defense challenges. As an engineer in the automotive industry, I see every single day how my own creativity helps to develop the cars that we drive and the manufacturing processes that we use to build them. Before we end our conversation, let's look toward the future. What breakthroughs or advancements do you foresee shaping your industry? How will they change the world?
Yeah, I think in this industry, aerospace and defense, we're always looking for what's next. So the advancements and the new technology are always very exciting to us. I think we live in a time that's where things change and evolve very rapidly, which I consider ourselves very fortunate to be in that time. It enables all sorts of innovation and progress at a very fast rate. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is just being able to support the warfighter with stronger, faster, lighter solutions. That's just we're in the defense industry. We don't. There's a great quote by Colin Powell that says, "Don't let your proximity to the fight dictate your importance to the fight." And so, even though we may be sitting, at a desk running analysis or working on a CAD program or something, we consider ourselves very close to the warfighter in that support. And so being able to do things, like I said, better, faster, cheaper, stronger, lighter, with advancements in technology, that's what's most exciting to me.
What a great quote. It is so true. Every individual's contribution adds up, and the collective impact of all STEM professionals in the aerospace and defense industry makes this country stronger and safer for all of us. Chandler, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Sam. It was great to be here, and thank you to all the students for tuning in.
I really enjoyed learning how engineers are using creativity to provide engineering innovations that solve big problems. Thank you for tuning in today. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel in the description below and follow us on social media to get updates about new episodes that I can promise you don't want to miss. Plus, you'll get access to fun weekly content for students and teachers, such as STEM facts for students, classroom tips for teachers, and so much more. And don't forget to check out the full library of episodes on demand right here. Each one has an NGSS and CASTLE-aligned lesson plan for teachers to use in the classroom. With your parents' permission, tell us how you were inspired today by tagging us at USA Science Fest, #XSTEM, and me at Celestial Sammy. Feel free to follow along with me as well, where I share all things space and my own experience as an engineer and a woman in STEM. I had such a blast being your host today. But wait, don't go just yet. There's a really fun trivia game at the end of this video that you'll want to stick around for, that you can do at home or in the classroom. Have fun and good luck.